Welcome and thank you for watching. So the first thing you want to do is take your flour, pour it into a bowl. Both flour is fine. Mix with your hands both flour so they're all well mixed. Then to it you can add your starter. So make sure your starter has double in size, at least. As you can see, mine has a little bit more than double. Then you can pour it in it. There we go. It's really sticky, but don't worry. Your hands will get, it's all hands on. Then you got your water, so 253 grams of water. So I pour my water at 34 degrees Celsius to be a little bit warm. That's considered to be during the winter. During the summer you might want to reduce it to 25 degrees. 250. Here we go. And then with one hand you hold the bowl, and with the other one you start mixing all together. So don't worry, at first it's gonna be a big mess, like sticky mess. Make sure to go on the side and get the extra flour and pieces. And then what you want to do is grab the dough and press it like this. Yes. There we go. Once all your flour and water and starter is well combined, you don't see any more flour on the side, you can take the extra dough on your finger out like that, pull it back on the dough. It's okay if you still have some dough sticking to your hands. That won't make a big difference. Then I got the scraper. If you got like a spatula or something, just scratch the side. There we go. And that's it for the first part. So that's what it looks like. So it's really just a piece of dough. Now what you want to do is take just a regular plastic bag and cover it. Then we'll leave it on the table like this for 30 minutes. So after the 30 minutes, what you want to do is take a little water on your side, dip your hands in it, just a little bit, so the dough don't stick to your hands. Then leaving the dough mixed like this for 30 minutes, help the flour absorbs more water and start processing the molecule, so you get a little bit a better texture to it. Now you got your salt on the side that you didn't put earlier in it. You can put it now. So you just sprinkle the salt on it, there we go, like this. And then what you want to do, that's gonna be sticky by the way. You want to fold the dough onto it. There we go, one side. And then after that, you want to lift your dough with your hands and then flap it, cover it, take back, slap it, cover it, take the other side, slap it, cover it, and then you can do that for 5 minutes. You'll see your dough will gain in structure and strength. It's okay if there is a little bit of dough on the table. You're gonna feel the salt in the middle. The dough is going to rip a little bit. It's fine. So you just keep doing that. That's the kneading process. You'll feel your dough getting stronger and stronger. After 3-5 minutes of doing this, you can leave your dough on the table for like, let's say 10 minutes, and then we're gonna do that twice. So the resting period between the two kneading process, just let the dough absorb the salt, relax a little bit, so it's easier to manipulate the dough. And at the same time, you also fold the dough and give it more strength, which is what we want. Don't want too much strength, but don't worry, mixing it by hands. So yeah, you're just gonna leave the dough like that for like 10 minutes. Rest, same thing, dip your hands in water, take back your dough, which should have way more extensibility, and then you redo the same thing. Now you'll see the skin of your dough will be way more smooth, and it's gonna be a little bit more tense, so we won't need to do it as long because we don't want to rip the gluten either, overwork it. So yeah, just about that. That's good. And then you see, push the dough. Here we go. To the bottom, and kind of like make it look as a ball, and then you can leave that for, so now that 30 minutes has passed, we're just gonna give it a fold, so a gentle fold, so you can still dip your hands in water a little bit, just not too much, just a little bit, and then just like grab in the middle the bottom and then lift it completely and just drop it back, and then take the two other side and do the same thing. You can twist it, But this time you're gonna put that side that drops first on the table, and then here we go, like this. And then do the same thing with that side. Here, drop that side on the table first, and here we go, that's it, no more. So here you get a light fold, and this time we're going to cover it. So you just take your plastic and put it on top, like that, and we're gonna leave it for 1 hour rest and covered. We're gonna take the plastic off. So if the dough stick, you just pull gently, and with your hand you kind of push back the dough on it. If there is a little bit of dough on the plastic, you can always either scrap it or just take it with your hands or finger. It's okay if it gets a bit messy on top. Next time we can put a little bit flour on the top, so that won't happen. Now we're gonna give another fold. So same thing, same step. Reach the bottom, lift your dough, and then kind of like drop it again, reach the two other sides, and then now the side that falls down, you kind of like fold it so it's under, and then reach, kind of like the same process that we just did an hour ago. Now you should have a dough that is quite soft and strong too. When you push to it, it's nice filling. It's a nice filling now. Up. So same thing, now we're gonna cover it again. So you can either spray a little bit of flour, or I'm just gonna put back mine on top of it because I think it's okay. But if you don't want it to stick to the plastic, just spray a little flour and then cover it with the plastic. And then we'll let it like this for another hour. So same thing, we're gonna take out the plastic, so the dough might lightly stick to the plastic. If you put some flour, it might be a bit better. You just try to, there we go, get the plastic. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna want to choose, before we start shaping the dough, we want to choose something to put the dough in it, so we proof and get to the size we want before we put it either in the fridge or bake it, but that will come later. So for the size, usually professional baker or even like baker put bread in DOS. If you don't have DOS, there is always other thing you can use, such as this, a regular bowl in which you put just something like that. Here we go, over the top, flour, a lot of flour, and then you put your shaped dough inside. Now that one might be a little bit too big for the size of our dough. Most like salad bowl will be too big. So what I'm gonna use today to show you that it works is a cake pan. So regular cake pan, approximately 25 centimeter long and let's say like 10 centimeter large. You just put a towel, a dry towel, kitchen towel on it, well, the side, there we go, push it. You can use regular flour. I use rice flour. I literally just take some grain of rice and mix them in the mixer until it gets like into a thin powder. If you don't have it, you can just use regular flour, just put a little bit more in it. So you just prepare it. So what you want to do is just like flour a little bit everywhere, particularly the bottom, the sides, just make sure that there is enough flour so the bread, when it's going to relax in it, it's gonna wet the kitchen towel, and that's where it might get sticky. So here, once you put enough flour in it, we're gonna go to the shaping part. So the shaping part is really not that difficult. So now you take regular flour, just regular flour, and you sprinkle, there we go, like this, just light dust the top of your dough. Then you scratch up, there we go, the bottom of your dough to get it back. And what you want to do, you can put a little bit, there we go, flour here on your table. It will be easier to work with. You turn your dough so the bottom is not now the top. You don't want to put flour on it because you want it to stick, right? So you're just gonna make it into a nice rectangle. Then you're gonna fold the top to mostly almost the bottom. Okay, you're gonna leave just a little part here, and then you're gonna turn it, take off the extra flour on top, and what you're gonna do now is you're gonna extend the dough, put it back on one side, put one side to the other side, and the top one, so now you fold it like this. The top one, you're gonna put it on top. So now it look like that. Okay? Take off the extra flour. Now what you want to do is take one side to the other side like this. There we go. And you do the same thing just under what you just did. And same thing at the bottom until you reach the really bottom. Once you reach the really bottom, you're gonna take that bottom and put it back here and just lightly push to fix the end under, and that's it. Your bread is done. So that mostly look like that. Just a folding. Now you take this, you turn it so the closing part is on top, and you just put your bread on it. Now your bread is going to relax, so your bread will most likely extend on the side and then rise a little bit on top. We're gonna cover it. I usually use the plastic from the beginning. Just cover it. Well, here we go. From the bottom, the sides, and then leave it here on the table for an hour and a half, 2 hours, I will say, at 22-23 degrees. That should be a good temperature and a good time. So it has been an hour and a half. Now the dough looks like that in it. So I'm just gonna touch it here. I feel like it can rise a little bit more. It doesn't feel all the thing, like it doesn't touch the side. It's still not rise quite enough. So I'm gonna give it another half hour and then we'll see. I'll see how it feels and how it is. Sometimes you just gotta trust your gut and see, and with experience comes knowledge. So it has been right half an hour, 30 minutes. So now, because it's later in the evening, I'm not gonna put it just 3 hours in the fridge and then bake it. I'm just gonna leave it in the fridge covered overnight. and then bake it tomorrow morning. If you're doing it in the afternoon or even in the morning, you can, if you want, just put it 3 hours until it cools down completely in the fridge and then bake it in the oven. So when you put it in the fridge, just make sure it's covered all the top, nice, and just leave it there. So it has been 11 hours since I put the dough in the fridge. As you can see now, it's nice, wet on top. When you touch, the dough comes back a little bit. That's a good sign. So now what you want to do is set up your oven to 500 degrees Fahrenheit. You'll need a Dutch oven for best quality. Otherwise you can use, if you don't have a Dutch oven, you can use anything like a cloche, ceramic, anything that will keep the steam inside and the heat. You can also bake it on a pizza stone if you have one. Just make sure you put like a container with water inside the oven, so there is like steam going out inside. But yeah, the best will be to use like a Dutch oven for best results. So preheat your oven 500 degrees Fahrenheit, put your Dutch oven inside, or your tray, your pizza stone inside the oven while it preheats, so it's warm and hot when you put the bread inside. Leave the bread an hour outside before putting it in the oven. Once your oven is preheat and at temperature, we're gonna we take a parchment paper, just a square piece, and you drop your bread. So you see, it's not difficult to take it out. You can brush either with a brush the extra flour on top. Particularly if it's rice flour, you don't necessarily want all that rice flour on top of your bread. You can put another flour, like for example this one, just spray a little bit on top. The white flour, it's a nice touch. You can even like brush it to make like a nice kind of design. And then I use a razor blade, so I have a handle. You can buy like razor blade anywhere. If you don't have the handle, you can just take carefully the blade, and then what you want to do is like at a 45 angle, you want to put just the angle on it, and then kind of like go all across gently. It doesn't have to be like a big. You still want to have like a nice cut here, and then you can play with some like design if you want or not. It's really up to you. Here we go. Then once you've cut, you want to grab this, your Dutch oven, open it, and then put your bread inside. Careful not to burn yourself. Close it, and then put it back. So I drop the temperature to 475 for 15 minutes In 15 minutes, I will open the lid of the Dutch oven and then put it back another 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, depending on how you like your bread, if you like it lighter or darker. But don't forget to take out the lid. You can also use scissors or a knife. It has to be really sharp though. Even with little dent, it's better if you want to cut your bread if you don't have a razor blade. Taking out the bread after 15 minutes. In the oven, open lid. And that's pretty much what we're getting. So, to take it out, you can use like just a spatula. There we go. Quite happy with the results. We got a nice cut. It can always be better, but for a first loaf, I think that's pretty good. Alright, enjoy baking! Alors voici le résultat de la vidéo pour faire un pain pour débutants. Nous allons voir l'intérieur. Nice. That looks good.